Okay, so good afternoon, colleagues, friends, and members of the fraternity. My name is Percival Agodo. I'll be moderating today's event. I am the Vice President of the Ghana Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, and this event is a collaboration, mainly initiated by Professor To, who is a member of he's a professor at the School of Public Health, the Fred Binka School of Public Health in the University of Health and Allied Sciences. We'll be speaking about them soon. But for now, I would want us to observe some housekeeping issues, after which we will take a prayer and then we'll start officially. So the first thing is that this is a Zoom meeting, not a webinar necessarily. And so, as much as possible, please keep your microphones on mute until you are speaking, so that it doesn't interfere, or we don't get a background noise interfering with the event. And for your information, this event is actually being currently live streamed on YouTube, and so we would want to ensure that the quality of the stream focus on the conversations that happen in this meeting, and just that. Okay, and that said, I also want to state that when we get the opportunity for the questions and answers, you should feel free to use the raise your hand button that is available down on the options on your screen, depending on which device you are using. If it's a phone or a laptop, it should be the 3 dots, and I'm sure you will find the reactions panel that will lead you to the raise your hand option. Okay. So with that, to share a word of prayer with us, and then we can continue from there. Mrs. Benis Kunocho, over to you, madam.
All right, Percy, thank you very much. So let's pray. Our Lord and our Father, we are so thankful unto you for this afternoon. We thank you so much that once again we can gather even to learn. We commit our speakers into your hands. We ask the Lord, you would grant them the wisdom, you grant them the knowledge. You also grant us the understanding of everything that is going to happen here. I pray that the discussions will be fruitful and will lead to us improving nutrition among our population. We thank you in Jesus' mighty name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much, Benis. So colleagues, once again, you're welcome. I have the singular privilege to moderate this event. Like I already said, my name is Percival Agodo, and for those of us who are not, just in case you are not, you are still wondering why you are here, I would like to say that we are here to talk about sugar sweetened beverages, and this event is organized as part of the Advocating for Health project, and it's also led by, for this component is led by Professor Francis Zotto, who is a professor in public health, and he's doing that in collaboration with the Departments of Nutrition and Dietetics in UHAS and the Department of Community and Family Health in Hohoi, UHAS Hohoi, and the Ghana Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics Volta Oti Eastern Zone. Good. So whilst we are there, we are going to have in the next 90 minutes to 120 minutes, we're going to have a conversation on what sugar sweetened beverages what they are doing that exists to address the consumption of sugar sweetened beverages. And then we'll have a section, a plenary section, a discussion, a panel section on the perspectives from the various regions, the 3 regions that form the Volta Eastern and Oti Zone. So we'll have that discussion as a 3rd section. So for this point, let me verify that Professor Tor is here, then I'll have the privilege to introduce him. Professor Tor, yes, Senam. Okay.
Hi, Percy, he's around. I'm going to allow him to mute himself and then he'll join.
Excellent. 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 Okay, so whilst he's joining, let me state that.
Let me see if I can share.
Okay.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now, Prof.
Okay, that's good.
You're welcome.
Thank
so let
you.
me briefly introduce Professor Tor, and then Prof would go ahead and make his presentation. So Professor Francis Bruno Zotto is a professor of public health nutrition at the Fred Binka School of Public Health, University of Health and Allied Sciences in Ghana. He's a registered public health nutritionist with the Association for Nutrition of the UK and Northern Ireland, and has specialized training in pedagogy with the fellowship of the Higher Education Academy of the United Kingdom and Ireland. He's a recognized leader spanning over 2.5 decades in nutrition across Africa, and has been instrumental in driving and promoting the establishment of a strong nutrition profession on the continent, training and research to underpin program delivery, and especially across the health and education sectors in Africa. Professor Tor's global context of his work has enabled him to work in both developed and developing societies. He serves on a number of international boards in Africa as a director and trustee of the African, as trustees of the African Nutrition Society and the Federation of African Nutrition Societies. At a global level, Professor Tor is an active member of the United Nations Scaling Up Nutrition Civil Society Network, and he's part of the inception and now serves as the academic platform for the Scaling Up Nutrition movement in Ghana. Now, in Ghana, he also chairs the Food and Drugs Board's Technical Advisory Committee on Nutrition. He currently also serves on the Council of the International Union of Nutrition Sciences, a body that oversees the strategic directions of nutrition across the globe. My colleagues, I just read the profile of a big man, and I want you to understand that we are privileged to have the best resource ever to talk to us about what sugar sweetened beverages are doing to our health. And I welcome Professor Tor. Welcome to this event, and over to you, Nasa.
Thank you so much. You're frozen.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Can you hear me, Prof?
Yeah, you were frozen, yeah. So would you allow me to share my screen, please?
Yes, please.
Thank you. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, please, we can.
Okay. Thank you very much for this great opportunity you have given me. I don't take this lightly, and I'm honored to be able to speak to you on what sugar sweetened beverages are doing to our health. Now, before I start this, I'm going to dedicate today's event to the International Youth Day. Some of you may not realize that today is a very important day globally, because if we look at Africa, for example, over 70% of the population are youth under 30. The future belongs to the youth. And if you are under 30, listening to my voice, I want to announce to you that the future belongs to you and not to me. I've lived my life, and I thank God I'm still living my life. But the things that we can achieve today, if I leave you in debt and I pass on, you have to pay that debt. Rise up today, and I want to challenge you. Rise up today and make a mark for the next generation. So celebrate with me today's event. And I want to thank the organizers who cleverly chose today for this presentation on sugar sweetened beverages. Well done to you, organizers, for doing this. Now, I am going to be less technical because I have got different people from different parts of Africa. I know there are people who are listening to me from Tunisia, from Nigeria, from Lesotho, and from other parts, who may not be nutritionists. And so I'm going to take the language. I don't also want to stray into my next presenter because he's going to give you the evidence. I want to speak to your heart. Why we need to have a chat about sugar sweetened beverages. Is there any relationship between sugar sweetened beverages and malnutrition? Let's look at the issues in critical need of attention and what are the critical steps we need to take to address this menace. It's about time we dealt with sugar sweetened beverages. Now, for some of you who do not know what sugar sweetened beverages are, sugar sweetened beverages are any liquids that are sweetened with various forms of added sugars like brown sugar, corn sweetener, corn syrup, dextrose, fructose, glucose, high fructose corn syrup, honey, lactose, malt syrup, maltose, molasses, raw sugar, and sucrose. And so you have various forms of drinks that come in the form of regular soda, fruit drinks, sport drinks, energy drinks, sweetened waters, and coffee, and tea beverages with added sugars. The other thing I want you to know about sugar sweetened beverages is this. The tongue accepts it, and you begin to make merry. You are happy because it's sweet. But what it does beyond the tongue is what I'm concerned about. Now, I want us to look at some statistics. We know that malnutrition is a global problem. 1.9 billion adults are overweight or obese. And unhealthy diets are one of the leading causes of global health in our challenges. Now, when we talk about sugar sweetened beverages, what are they? I'm sure you are all familiar with what you are seeing on your screen right now. We have Coke, we have Sprite, Dr. Pepper, name them. Not only that, we also have these drinks that you find in parties. Your Lucozade, Pepsi. It is about time we face realities. And I speak to nutritionists. It is my hope that I can cause a vexation within your heart to go out there, set up floats, set up radio, and set up any opportunity that you have to warn people about sugar sweetened beverages and what they are doing to our health. How much sugar is in your drink? You and I may not know this, but in a can of fizzy drink, there are about 10 teaspoonfuls of sugar in it. Let me give you an example. Take a 1 peso or a copper coin and dip it overnight in one of these drinks. The next day, when you go and look at the coin, it would have cleaned it to your amazement. That is what sugar sweetened beverages are doing to our system. I can only face realities. But the reality in sub-Saharan Africa is that it is an attractive market for beverage companies owing to its rapid economic growth. We are told that Africa is one of the fastest growing countries, continents in Africa, in the world, globally. So it's an attractive market for beverage companies because of the rapid economic growth and growing the middle class and youthful population. And I just said to you that 70% of our population are under 30. Sadly, our healthcare system across sub-Saharan Africa is ill prepared to cope with the epidemic proportions of NCDs, the non-communicable diseases. This, my good friends, is a reality. We are not able to cope. We don't have the money, we don't have the wherewithal, we don't have the drugs, we don't have the experts to be able to deal with NCDs. We also know that sugar is cheap, and admittedly, it tastes good. If I put sugar on your tongue right now, you will smile. It also sells. And so because of that, companies have very little incentive to change. What do we see today? Every country has adopted the Western diet, and one that is dominated by low cost and highly processed foods. What is the implication of this? We are witnessing rising rates of obesity and related diseases. So what are the facts? There are now about 30% more people who are obese than who are in the undernourished world. Economic development means that the populations of the lower middle income countries are living longer, yes, but the outcome is that they are susceptible to non-communicable diseases. And it is said that 80% of the deaths occur in these countries from these conditions. I can only give you realities. I see, ladies and gentlemen, one thing you should know, that sugar acts on the same areas of the brain as alcohol and tobacco. You see, there is something where we call the prefrontal cortex. And the fact of the matter is that that reward circuit of the brain, when we have the orbitofrontal cortex or the prefrontal cortex, this is the brain. This is responsible for decision making, impulse control, and delayed gratification. So you may not drink alcohol, you may not take tobacco, but you have a part of the brain where sugar acts. And this is the problem we have. Fructose, which I mentioned earlier on, is on the generally regarded as safe list. That is true, my good friends. Sugar is usually considered as empty calories. When we talk about empty calories, we are talking about energy-dense, nutrient-poor foods. It doesn't contain any nutrients. For me, today, it is how we can encourage governments or nutritionists or public health people to get the fructose out of the generally regarded as safe list, because it is doing us a lot of harm than good. We know that sugar can worsen mood, increase irritability, agitation, irregular sleep, and increase inflammation. The deadly effect of consumption of fructose can cause many of the same health problems as alcohol. And you and I know. Now when we talk about the NCDs, the non-communicable diseases. We are talking about diabetes, type 2 diabetes, especially. We are talking about cardiovascular diseases. You become big, fat, obolo. And before you realize, you are facing various other challenges. Too much of these sugar-sweetened beverages can have a detrimental effect on us to you to stay healthy. Now, let me also bring it closer home. There is a disease, and I don't want to bore you with the technical names. Gaucher disease. It's a result of the buildup of certain fatty substances in certain organs, particularly your spleen and liver. And you know what happens? It causes the liver to enlarge. It can affect their function. These fatty acid substances can also build up in the bone tissue and then weaken the bone and increase the risk of fractures. So my good friends, we are not talking theory here. I talk about alcohol and tobacco, and I put this table up just to let you know about the chronic fructose exposure compared to the chronic ethanol exposure. Hypertension, myocardial infarction, dyslipidemia, pancreatitis, obesity, malnutrition, obesity are things that you get caught up when you take these sugar-sweetened beverages. So what is my call to action? Let you and I, on this day, be committed to ending sugar-sweetened beverages in our countries and on the continent. If it is necessary, let us ban or reduce the importation of sugar-sweetened beverages. Africa is a dumping ground for sugar-sweetened beverages. There are companies that will fight and kill to maintain their billions of profits. This is the reality, and I'm not mincing words. So what can you do? The youth are calling to arms. Let us stand as one and find ways of reducing the non-communicable diseases pandemic that we have. I also call on you to be passionate about engaging with communities, governments, and stakeholders, and say in their face that the future belongs to us. What are we doing with the proliferation of strange cancers, with the increase of non-communicable diseases? If you're not passionate about it, whatever would happen will happen. And before you realize, we become a danger to our society and our communities. So I call on the youth today to be willing to share any technical expertise you have about the harmful effects of sugar-sweetened beverages. They're not doing any good to you. Children who frequently consume sugar-sweetened beverages are at a high risk of dental caries. The research tells us that. Drinking just one sugar-sweetened beverage a day increases an adult's likelihood of being overweight by 27%. I'm not scaremongering. This is the fact. Not only that, a child's likelihood of being overweight by 55%. Not only that, developing type 2 diabetes by 25%. And I also want to tell you that people who consume one sugar-sweetened beverage a day are 30% more likely to die from heart attack. Drinking this Guinness daily for just 2 weeks can increase your blood fatty levels by 20%. And after 6 months, daily consumption of sugar-sweetened beverages doubles the fat deposits in the liver and contributes to diabetes and heart disease. Ladies and gentlemen, we are not trying to bring down any company's business. How are they different from other sugars? We know that liquid sugar is particularly harmful. It can be absorbed in 30 minutes. In the processed foods, the foods have been processed, quickly get converted into glucose in a short time. So the liquid sugar is absorbed in 30 minutes. These spikes lead to sugar changing into fat in the liver, and they contribute to the development of diabetes and heart disease. The calories from sugar sweetened beverages do not leave one feeling full, unlike calories from food or milk. They add to the calories that are consumed. And as I said earlier, they have no nutritional value. Now let's come to obesity and disease. Excess sugar consumption is associated with weight gain. I have seen somebody who drinks sugar sweetened beverages that do not put on weight after time, over a period of time. We know that South Africa has the biggest rate of obesity in sub-Saharan Africa. Something has to be done about it. Don't be complacent if your country has not got the same levels as in South Africa. It's a matter of time. If we don't continue the rate at which we are going, we'll face problems. 7 out of 10 women above the age of 35 are overweight. And 4 out of 10 men are overweight. 1 out of 5 teenage children, girls, are overweight. Overweight and obesity increases by 4 to 8 times the risk for diseases such as diabetes, heart attack, high blood pressure, stroke, and cancers. And I'm beginning to repeat this over and over again so that it will get to. And I can tell you that obesity-related diseases are among the top causes of death. This prevalence is only rivaled by HIV/AIDS. So what is the response and call for action? It is important for you and I to build a strong research agenda that supports evidence based on decisions around nutrition and food security generally, but particularly on food systems and diets. What is the diet that we are taking? And that is why I call on nutritionists, I call on dietitians. That in the diets that you present to the populace, advise them. It's important for them to strengthen capacity for food and nutrition security at all levels, generally, nationally, regionally, and especially at district levels. You may not have the platform to get to the national level, but within your circumference of influence, is there something that you and I can do? How can we integrate lessons learned from elsewhere, particularly Japan, where they have an emphasis on diet? Brazil, an emphasis on the right to food and access to food through public sector procurement initiatives. I'll be finishing so Percy. I call for an Arab Spring action. That Arab Spring action is not to fight with arms, but to lobby, set up media campaigns, public events, public lectures, and discussions. That is my Arab Spring campaign. I also call for policy briefs. That the issues that we are talking about, can we begin to write policy briefs for our governments and our politicians to understand the effect of sugar sweetened beverages on our health? Can we begin to write position papers? Like I said, the future belongs to you. Scorecards, testimonials. Use the social media. You are good at social media. Twitter, WhatsApp. What have you? Let's use all those petitions. Let's use all those avenues and petitions. This for me is the Arab Springs advocacy. Is trying to find ways to reach out to our community, our elders, our politicians, to talk to them about sugar sweetened beverages. There are people who are raking in the millions because they encourage and turn a blind eye when these drinks come onto our shelves. I call it today International Youth Day to try and do something. So the strategy would be for us to set up a multidisciplinary network of dedicated African experts. And I call you the youth as champions who are committed to bridge building, advocacy, capacity strengthening, and improve capacity and accountability at all levels. I call on you, the youth, to find ways to rise up, that we can find a solution to the problem of sugar sweetened beverages. It is not good for us. My colleague will be talking about the evidence, but there is a way that we can say enough is enough. Thank you very much, Tracy, for giving me the opportunity to be able to present to your listeners. Thank you.
Wow, 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 wow. This is as passionate as it gets. I mean, I think we need to clap. Let's clap for Prof. Zotto on this. In fact, there's a clapping feature on WhatsApp. Let me see if we can all use it. Let me see if we can all find it. Excellent. I see people using it. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Excellent delivery. All right, so Prof, thank you so much. Thank you so much for such an in-depth presentation. We would allow some 5 questions, and then we'll move on to the next presentation. So if you have a question, kindly put up your hand. I will go according to the way I see it. On this, put up your hand, the hand feature. I see Nicholas, that's 1. I see Avoca Vasco, that's 2. I see Deborah, that's 3. I see Gifty, that's 4. And I see Isaac, that's 5. So those are the 5 questions we take for this round in that order. So Nicholas, kindly unmute yourself and speak.
Okay. Yeah,
Nicholas.
thank you.
Yes.
Hello, thank you. First, you will not allow me to unmute myself.
So you can hear you now. Nicholas, please go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Very clearly, sir.
Oh, okay. My question is that now mostly our kids, when they are going to school, we have to give them a snack. And it's this sweetened drinks that we give to them. Normally, when you make your own homemade fruit juice, you put them in the fridge. The next day, you give it to the kid to go to school. At the time the child will be taking it, it is melted and it's no more nice. So what will be the way forward? If we are staying away from these beverages for kids for school, how do we give them their snacks and the drinks locally?
Okay, so
thank you.
Thank you. Your network was a little unstable, but I think your point is how do we, what alternatives do we have for the sugar sweetened beverages for our kids? I think that's the question.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll take the questions together and then I'll answer it because of time.
Excellent, Prof. So number 2, please. Avoca.
Hello, thank you, Prof, for that wonderful and factual presentation. I wanted to find out what are the cultural and social, perspectives or acceptance on this SSB consumption and their, connected impact on the facts that you just stated. And also find out from you if the FDA and associated or relevant stakeholders are taking steps to, do or advance nutrition labels using the traffic guide and others to warn consumers of, the impending dangers associated with the SSBs, just like we see in cigar and others. Thank you.
Thank you. So question number 3, I think that was Pearl. No, or Deborah. So Deborah, Deborah, can you hear
This
me?
wasn't actually a question, but when I wanted to clap for him, that was when I think I pressed on I mistakenly touched the raise hand.
Thank you.
Thank
so
you.
Then we have Isaac who wants to make a comment. Isaac.
Isaac Ampoma, we are listening.
Okay, I'm guessing Isaac has a little of a challenge. So let's take the final one from Emmanuel. Emmanuel.
Alternative of the sugar sweetened beverages. It is necessary for us to now begin to identify local.
Isaac, could you kindly just type your question in the chat? It's not too clear. Your network is not too clear. So could you just type it in the chat? So Emmanuel, the last question, then Prof will answer the questions. Emmanuel.
Okay. Hello?
Yes, I can hear you, Emmanuel.
Thank you very much. In Prof's presentation, he highlighted how sugar sweetened beverages can contribute to weight gain. But I want to ask whether that alone contribute to weight gain, because we can have a lot of people who are depending on sugar sweetened beverages, but they end up losing weight also. So that's what I want to know, whether the SSB really lead to weight gain, or other factors have to contribute to it. That's my question.
Okay, so Prof.
Yes.
Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much for these insightful questions. And I would want to tell you upfront that FDA is working arm in arm with the nutritionists with GAND. And I want to give credit to Professor Amos La, who has been championing research into this area. He has got a team of nutritionists and dietitians and other policymakers who are looking into sugar sweetened beverages. So I want to give him a lot of credit for doing this. Now, I would also want to say that it is true that we want to be able to get our children something in their lunch pack. What I often advise is that rather than give them the sugar sweetened beverages, encourage them, train your children the way they should go. And when they grow up, they will not depart from it. You force your child to bite their teeth, they will be able to do well. They can smile. In the same way, when you begin to train your children and you are beginning to give them sugar sweetened beverages, and it appeals to the tongue, they grow up and become parcel and parcel of them. It becomes like a drug. So the other thing too is that you take the pineapple, you take the watermelon, when you blend it into juice, the release of the sugar content is faster than if you eat the fruit. So encourage your children, give them fruits. And if you train them the right way, I believe that they'll grow up with it. I would be honest with you that if you train your children and give them less sugar, growing up, they become used to it. So what are the alternatives? Dennis is asking. Give them the fruits, give them the water to drink. Run away from sugar sweetened beverages is what I would say. Water is the best thing to do. Fruits, you can get the fiber and the other nutrients from fruits. And like I said, sugar is easy, it's tasteful, it's sweet, it's nice. And that is why the government is having challenges. Because when you look at alcohol and tobacco, they have been regulated, but sugar is going to be a challenge. That should be the focus for intervention. Now, in terms of the cultural and social impact, this is Harvard. Your forefathers will tell you, your forebears will tell you those in community will tell you that this has not been the challenge. When we were growing up, we didn't have all these sugar-sweetened beverages. They flooded our system with importation of sugar-sweetened beverages from every part of the world. Africa has become a dumping ground. They make all kinds of sweetness. And this, let us go back to basics. If you look at our culture, you look at our society, this was not in the increase. When I was growing up, I'm just a young man. But today, they tend to the left, they tend to the right. You find them in different colors, in different shapes, in different bottles. So yes, the FDA is looking at this, and we are working closely with the FDA. I know Professor La has got an FDA colleague who is a student, PhD student. And in terms of the alternatives, as I keep on saying, Africa is rich with different diversity of fruits. Let us go back to the table and see what is it. Sugar-sweetened beverages is not the way forward. Coke is not the way forward. Coke is oil. Fanta is orange. Sprite is orange. If you encourage it, you are slowly digging your grave. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Professor Tor. I agree with you. Africa, Ghana, we have the fruits and the vegetables. We have the natural sources. We may not need the SSBs. So allow me to break protocol and introduce a very important personality in our midst. So I see in the call the PI for the Advocating for Health project, Professor Amos La. Professor La, welcome. Are you able to say hi to us and share a few words with us? Hello, Prof. La. Anyway, I'm sure Prof. La would at an opportunity he would do that. I see that there are a few more hands up, but friends, let's hold our guns. There are more comments in the chat we will address, but for now, let's prepare for the next presentation. And then when we get to the third session, we will have a lot of time to have a complete conversation.
You can unmute Professor La.
Oh, okay. Okay, I can
hear
him now.
Yeah, thank you. That has been done. And thank you, first of all, to Professor Zoto. As you presented, I kept taking notes copiously. I have already started sharing those notes with others, including the fact that Africa, and therefore Ghana, must not be allowed to be a dumping ground for anything, not just sugar-sweetened beverage alone. So thank you very much, Professor Zoto. As usual, very passionate. And thanks, Percy, and the organizers of this very important event for the opportunity to let our fellow Ghanaians know or appreciate what sugar-sweetened beverages are, what they can do to our health. And those of us from the Advocating for Health project are very happy and are pleased to partner with you to deliver this. If you give me a minute, for those who may not be familiar with the project, we are advocating, and our ultimate goal for the advocacy is for Ghanaians to be healthy. We believe that one of the many ways to promote health in Ghana is to ensure that we are eating healthy food. We do know we consume sugar-sweetened beverages now, and they are not healthy food. So the advocacy is to let Ghanaians know what sugar-sweetened beverages are, and therefore take actions that would lead to reduce consumption or even not consumption of sugar-sweetened beverages. But we also know such public health policy actions are usually referred to as high agency. So we need low agency actions as well, where government of Ghana that has a mandate to protect and assure our health can have policies that either prevent them from being advertised in a way. Professor Otto was talking about how our brains can be hijacked by this food. So being advertised in a way that would let us become dependent on them. Or there could be policies that would force them to, those who produce sugar sweetened beverages to reformulate them by reducing the amount of sugar in them. So the project aims to create a favorable environment and then stakeholder buy-in for food-related fiscal policies. It could either be taxation or subsidies. I would take this opportunity to address a question that was posted on the chat box as to how evidence-informed we want this advocacy to be. It's an excellent question. The project in its design recognizes the need for advocacy to be evidence-informed. And so one of the very first objectives was that we have to identify a realistic legal pathway to implement these policies. And by that, we had Ghanaian lawyers working with international lawyers who conducted what we refer to as a legal feasibility analysis to confirm whether or not the path that we are charting is legally permissible. That's our constitution allowed that. Are there existing laws in Ghana that will prevent? They've completed that work. In subsequent webinars or Zoom meetings with you and others, that will be presented to you. Second, we have experts, including Professor Otto, who are currently conducting what we refer to as systematic reviews to generate, to curate, and then avail evidence, local evidence that will be used by us for this advocacy, as well as scholar activism. And so it's an important question, and we are putting measures in place to ensure that we are doing advocacy for Ghanaians, and the evidence that we are using for the advocacy are fit for local purpose. I think I wouldn't take too much of your time. I'm enjoying the conversation. I look forward to the second presentation. Thank you once again.
Before you go off, there's one thing that I want to address about the non-nutritive sweetener now in some drinks. I want to warn all of us that it has no health advantage. It leads to tooth decay, and this is not scaremongering. It leads to weight gain and also triglyceride levels. So please don't be convinced by people who peddle these things and so they're using sweetness. Let us think about the effect this is having on our health. To be forewarned is to be forearmed. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Prof. Otto and Prof. La. I mean, I'm happy that Prof. La was able to join us. In fact, many of you may not know, I don't know if he wants me to say it, but he's currently supposed to be in a meeting, but he's made it a point of intervention. So just a few comments from the chat. Jonathan Annan Asari RD says that governments across Africa must deal strongly with this problem with strong policies to either ban their importation or put a high tax on them. And I think, Jonathan, you just highlighted the point that Prof. La just said. This advocacy is in the hope of getting one or the other of these, or even both, if possible. One other comment. Okay, I think that is a question that has been addressed. How do we curtail these issues, SSB, which has to do with political decision? Is our policymakers, I think, are policymakers ready to take this drastic decision to reduce importation on SSBs? Important question, but I'm sure we will discuss it with time. Prof, would any of you want to address this question now?
I'll be blunt and tell you. Leadership is an issue across Africa. And I want you to read my lips. Leadership is a challenge in Africa. If leaders can put their foot down and say enough is enough, I am interested in the health of the populace. And so the policies that we make impact on the health of the populace. They will think twice and not allow some of the sweetened beverages. So everything rests on leadership. The policies that we make, and also the people in the health affairs, they allow certain things to come in because of their 10%, 20%. I'm not accusing anybody. My hands are clean. But when you allow these things to come in, the fact fruits, let them to eat fruits, to drink water. Why do you give them the Coke and the Sprite and all those kind of Fantas and all those drinks? It only appeals to the taste. So the policies are very important. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prof. Zotto. I mean, the policies are important, but the will to make it happen is the way forward. Prof. I would want to add a word or two to this before we move on to the policy, the intervention conversation, evidence conversations.
You are putting in sugar. It appeals to the taste. And so instead of 1 cg, please, they are adulterating the drink, the food, the drinks.
Okay. All right. So the next presentation is oh, sorry. I'm using the wrong slides. Let me stop that. So we are going to talk about the evidence. I mean, evidence-based interventions addressing the consumption of sugar-sweetened beverages. And this is going to be done by Dr. Nicole Kote, the immediate past head of department of the Nutrition and Dietetics Department of UHAS. He is a man of many caps, and I would just want to leave that for now. I'm sure when we get to some point, I'll bring them in. So Dr. Kote, if you are online, are you able to share your screen and do your presentation now, sir? Oh, okay. Dr. Kote? Yes, I think he's on. Apologies for the technical hitches. I get the impression that some, can you hear me, sir? Oh, okay.
Hello.
Yes, wonderful. I can hear you now.
Can you get me now?
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, Honorable Moderator, and good afternoon to everybody. I'm Nicole Kote, and I'll be speaking on the topic earlier on introduced by our Honorable Moderator. I'll be sharing my slides very soon.
We can see the slides.
Okay, that's good. All right. So without much ado, the topic of my discussion is evidence-based interventions to address the consumption of sugar-sweetened beverages. And this shall be the outline of my presentation from the background right down to conclusion. A little bit of the background. And we've had a lot of lectures on sweetness. So I would want to just add a few onto. They are basically food additives. and they are aptly categorized as sweetness. So sweetness are sugar substitutes that duplicates the effects of sugar in taste. One may ask what food additives are. Food additives are simply substances that are added to food to have a desired effect. So there are several classes of them. We have preservatives, colorants, antioxidants, etc., etc. The topic of our discussion is sweetness. So I'll zoom in on sweetness. The earlier presenter, Prof. Zoto, aptly spoke about the various kinds of sweetness available to us. And I must say, I must add on that they are classified in two categories. There are the natural ones and then the artificial ones. The natural ones are the fructose, sucrose, corn syrup, etc., etc. Then we have the artificial ones, some of which are quite common on our markets. So I'll just mention a few and then proceed. We have sweet and low, sweet twin, sweet one, etc., etc. They are substances that are able to elevate the sweetness of foods up to folds of about 200 to 700 times. So we can imagine how deceptive these substances can be in our foods. They actually cause an increase in energy intake by enhancing the taste to make food so appealing. So there is the likelihood of consuming more than what is actually needed at a particular time. There is also the high risk for dental bacteria causing plaques or plaques onto which these bacteria get stuck onto, and then they begin producing their acids, which eventually corrodes the enamel of our teeth. All right. So, like Prof. Zoto rightly said, there are several kinds of these sugar sweetened beverages on our markets. In fact, our markets have been seriously flooded with all these kinds of sugar sweetened beverages, which are not doing us any good at all. So on your screen, you can see the various kinds available. I would want to emphasize on the picture we are seeing, which actually or rightly describes the situation in which we are. That is a glass filled with cubes of sugar into which has been inserted a straw, which gives a clear picture of the situation we are facing currently. We are currently drinking too much sugar, which is causing so many detrimental effects on our health. Now the problem. The consumption of sugar sweetened beverages is associated with increased energy intake, higher risk for poor oral health, weight gain, and therefore there is a high likelihood or propensity for various.
Okay. Dr. Kote, sorry, I think
yes.
The network is a little
yes,
unstable.
we are having some challenges here.
Yes. So I don't know. Maybe
we are hoping it gets better.
We can hear you now, so just go ahead, sir. Sorry for the interruption.
All right. So there is an association between the consumption of sugar sweetened beverages and weight gain, which is stronger than that for any other food or beverage. A little bit of statistics. On your screens can be seen the mean intake of sugar sweetened beverages, which is calculated in grams per day within the period of 2009 to 2015. Yes, so the color of the individual countries corresponds to the SSB consumption level, that is the sugar sweetened beverages consumption level. There are different color shades or patterns. The green corresponds to lower intakes for the various countries. The red corresponds to countries with very high intake of sugar. So the green ranges between 0 to 200 grams per day of consumption, while the red patches correspond to between 500 to 600 grams per day, while the white patched countries are countries that had no data during the survey. Again, some global trends in sugar sweetened beverages intake by sex within the same year period. Now, I would like to explain what the abbreviations you are seeing on our screen actually mean. So we have Asia, FSU, which stands for the former Soviet Union, HIC, the Western High Income Countries, LAC stands for Latin American and Caribbean countries, MENA or MENA, Middle East and North African countries, SAARC, the South Asian countries, SSA for Sub-Saharan African countries. Now we can see that there is an apparent high intake of SSB for the Latin American and Caribbean countries. Both sexes are topping the chart with an average of between 290 to 360, 347 grams per day for men, while the females are slightly lower and recording between 250 to 300 grams per day. On the contrary, we have the Asian countries who are doing very well. With a very low in higher risk of type 2 diabetes. SSB consumption was also associated with a 9% higher risk of cardiovascular diseases when extreme categories of intake of none or less than 1 per month versus 1 or more per day were compared. Now, these findings are meta-analysis of averagely 10 prospective cohort studies. Again, twofold higher risk of gout can be gotten comparing the highest to the lowest intake of sugar sweetened beverages. Colleagues, Here are some interventions, evidence-based interventions proposed by the WHO to help salvage this problem of ours. And they've been grouped into options. Option number 1 has to do with the regulation of food advertisements. The regulation of food advertisements. First and foremost, self-regulatory advertisements of food high in fats, sugars, and salts, and what have you, should be discouraged in the home. That is, in our home, such foods, refined foods and unhealthy foods, junk foods, shouldn't be served regularly, and they shouldn't be glorified at home. They must be discouraged so as to keep children's minds off such foods. A comprehensive and preferably statutory restrictions on food advertisements are recommended to help reduce the marketing pressure on children. Children have serious with strongly influence these children negatively. Emphasizing on children because I think there's this adage that goes like, you catch them young and then you can be able to shape them into whichever, or mold them into whichever shapes you want them to be. So the earlier you prevent them from getting glued to their TV sets with the advertisements of such junk foods and unhealthy foods, the better. So I advocate for the eating of healthy foods from the onset at homes. So the eating of fruits and vegetables must be encouraged, drinking of water, and then in addition, making of smoothies, natural fruit smoothies, which are far much better than our refined sugary foods. Option number 2, which has to do with the labeling of our sugar sweetened beverages and raising awareness about their health effects. Again, front of package labeling as part of nutrient specific schemes with text, symbols, and colors indicating nutrient levels must also be encouraged. Many of our foods should be displayed with their contents to help encourage our incoming children to know what they are taking in. Then the long-term individual counseling, face-to-face or telephone, is also an effective way to improve the child's diets. Option number 3 has to do with school interventions and nutrition policies. As much as possible, snacking foods and junk foods must not be displayed on the menu of school children, for them not to keep their minds on such bad eating habits. They are less intensive but longer duration. They have longer duration that combine educational and environmental interventions and address several unhealthy foods. Direct methods such as education or workshops on healthy eating promoting so with yourself, all right. I'm sorry for that. We are having some slight technical glitches. So I would want to move on to my option 4, which has to do with the imposing of taxes on sugar sweetened beverages and rather subsidizing other food groups that are healthy. The food taxes and subsidies can influence consumption, and the increasing price of sugar sweetened beverages is also associated with reduced demand. So if we are able to increase our taxes, it will reduce the demand for the product, which will discourage the consumption of sugar sweetened beverages. The most effective, cost-effective policy is to combine subsidies for healthy foods with taxation of unhealthy foods. So in conclusion, colleagues, all the discussed evidence-based interventions have been proved or proven to be effective in curbing the problem of the usage of sugar sweetened beverages and its health effects, according to a WHO document 2017. However, these interventions can either be used singly or in combinations to ensure an effective implementation. Thank you very much for your audience.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kote. I think that was a very powerful and powerfully intense presentation. I mean, you gave us a number of options, including starting with the parents, personal decisions, and then including taxing, which we hope perhaps the state will be interested in instead of the e-levy that has become a discussion of sorts. Thank you so much. Wonderful, wonderful. Let's clap for Prof again, Dr. Kote again. So let's take, we are running out of time, but let's take 3 questions. We have 3 questions, let's take those. And then we'll go into the panel discussion where the conversation will really happen. Are there any questions for Prof. Kote? Yes, Nicholas, your hand is up. Anybody else? Like we just take it together. Okay, go ahead, Nicholas. I don't see any.
Mine has to do with laws in Ghana.
Your network is not stable, Nicholas. Can you?
In the presentation, he mentioned that in the schools, maybe they shouldn't advertise. Okay. What I'm saying, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello?
Go ahead, sir. I can hear you. Go ahead, sir.
Hello? Okay. What I'm saying is that he said that they shouldn't advertise those sweets in schools. But we know with Ghana law, they are not even supposed to sell those things in the schools. Meanwhile, it is going on. So this is not a new law that you are coming to set up. It's a law that needs to be reinforced. So what are the advocates, what are they doing about that?
Okay, so what are we doing about enforcing the laws? That's the question. So
I hope it was clear.
Very clear, very clear, very, very clear. Thanks so much. Tasiame, yeah, you are. I hope I got the name correct. Please, over to you.
Okay, thank you very much for the presentations, which I really appreciate. My contribution or suggestion is this. The sugar sweetened beverages are very common. That is how come people are getting access to them. And we trying to place a ban or trying to, I don't know how it would be, but what I want to suggest is, if possible, next year there will be, I think somewhere June, there will be this tree planting activity. That's a green Ghana. Instead of trying to plant non-fruit trees, why don't our big men, Professor Zuto and the others, why don't they communicate it to those at the Forestry Commission that instead of planting those non-fruit trees, they should rather give us fruit tree seedlings that will plant within our communities, that during that time, the rain itself would water it for us, for it to grow. So in the next 3, 4, 5 years time, those fruits will be available for us. Then it wouldn't be that you will have to go and buy them from the market again, but rather we'll get easy access to them and consume them instead of relying on those sugar sweetened beverages. So that's my submission or my suggestion, that next year, let's talk to the stakeholders who are involved in the tree planting. So we move from non-tree planting to fruit tree planting. That in the next 3, 4, 5 years time, we'll have and other things.
I think the point is made.
Thank you.
The point is well made. Thank you. Dr. Inso, John, that'll be the final for this section. Then we'll move on to the conversations. Over to you, sir. Dr. Inso.
Thank you very much, Percy. That was a very wonderful presentation. And I have a simple question I want to find, or something, let me say, I'm thinking aloud. If you look at the statistic that Dr. Kote showed about the global trend and the consumption of the sweetened beverages, you realize that the Asians were doing pretty well when you compare with the other parts of the world. So I don't know, in the course of his preparation, did he come across anything that made the Asians seem to be better when it comes, because if you compare with Africa, the Asians, when it comes to the economic levels, they are better than us. But you realize that for them, their consumption was pretty low. So I don't know, maybe if there are something that that they are doing differently, maybe it's something that when we adapt, it can go a long way to help us. That is what I want to know. Thank you.
John, the quick one. Our policies. In those countries, they are very hard in what comes into their country. Africa has become a dumping ground. Ghana has become a dumping ground. People come in here and they produce these sugar sweetened beverages and we let them sell it to our population. Until we are able to be hard on what comes in, what is produced, we're not able to make the headway.
Okay.
Sorry for the information.
It's well noted. It's in good faith. All right.
Thank you. Yeah.
Dr. Kote, would you want to answer the other questions so that we can move on to the next section? In the interest of time, that is.
Thank you very much. I think because of the bad network, I only got the first question, which is, what are we doing about enforcing the law? I think, yes, we've begun the process. So I believe that with time, we shall gather momentum and be very effective in the law implementation. So I want to promise my brother that we are on the ground and we'll do our best to enforce the law to its maximum effect. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think that Professor Otto had answered the other question that came up about the enforcement. The people are you and Dr. Inso, I know you know this from personal experience. The people don't joke with our laws.
The little I wanted to add is, I think for Asia, I have actually lived there for a couple of times, and I saw that if you look at the market is actually also flooded. And for me, I think that when I went there, I realized that they seem to consume this thing. But I think also it has to do with individual awareness of the need to eat healthy. That probably maybe that's what I'm thinking, because for them, they are really concerned with what they eat as food, unlike us that anything goes. And I think what Professor Otto said is actually true. that if you are able to enforce our laws and make sure that our place doesn't become a dumping ground, it will go a long way to help a lot. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. So it is there is somebody whose microphone is on. All right, thank you very much. So this
moderator, honorable
yes,
moderator, can
Go
I
ahead.
add something to what Dr. Inso just said? Yes, so
go ahead, sir.
From observation, I think the Asian countries focus more on fermented foods rather than sugar sweetened beverage, which is really good for our gut environment and promotes healthy gut. So I think if we adopt such healthy eating habits, it would really go a long way to help us. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I am looking at our time, and I am sure that if we want to allow the conversations now, we will not get to where I feel we can take action. So let's listen to our regional nutrition officers. They are going to tell us the situation in the regions. And then when we come to the conversations, I will allow as many people as they want, as we would like to talk, to help us to determine how to fix the problem. So without much ado, I would welcome the regional nutrition officer for the Eastern region, and that is Madam Rodalyn Adache Yamuan. This is somebody, a nutritionist with over 15 years experience, and I can tell you that her resume is a beautiful one, full of hands-on experience in the region, in the communities, from both in the clinical setting and in the community level setting. So, Madam Rodalyn, if you are with me in the next 10 minutes, please share with us your observations from your region, and then we'll take it from there. But just to say that for this session, we will have all three RNOs, regional nutrition officers, speak first, and then we can have the conversation subsequently. Okay, thank you. Auntie Rhoda, over to you, please.
Okay, thank you very much. Good afternoon to us all. Thanks to the previous presenters for the presentation. I think that whatever they have said is actually what is happening in our various regions. Across the regions, you find that there are a lot of SSB products on the market, which are being targeted at all population groups, right from children to the adults. And this I call a sweet poison, which is becoming a revolution that we all must get involved. We are either hydrating ourselves with the sugar sweetened beverages instead of water, or we are either snacking with the sweetened beverages instead of drinking water, or drinking the natural fruit juices, or either eating the whole fruits, just like Professor Victor said. We get a lot of fiber from the fruits that we will be taking. And then you also find that, amazingly, as health workers, instead of promoting the consumption of the natural foods and fruits, we find in our meetings that we are not championing that. So I often ask myself, is it that Major Kwashiga of blessed memory took away the regenerative health that was championed years back? So as health personnel, we need to rise up to the occasion. And just like the two presenters said, either we look at the high taxation of sugar and then start teaching our children from home to know what is best for their health. So what I would want to add to is that currently in our regions, we are trying to promote healthy consumption of foods by using children in schools so that they become the change agents, just like Prof again emphasized. If you begin to train up a child the way he or she should go, the child will go according to that standard. So we are promoting the nutrient-friendly school initiative, where we are promoting the consumption of an egg a day, twice, eating either fresh fruits or taking in fresh juice on Wednesdays and on Fridays. And I think that it is something that parents are beginning to welcome. And if this is continued, then together with Professor Tor and other stakeholders, we'll be able to champion the cause of addressing the SSB menace in our country. I must say also that if you look at our non-communicable disease, we are getting a number of children who are coming with cancers and others. Though research has not been done to confirm that these have been linked with the rising numbers of SSB in our environment. But I believe that just like Prof. Zotor and then Prof. La, as well as Dr. Norte have mentioned, evidence shows that these have a way of increasing the risk of non-communicable diseases, and then as well as dental caries. I'd want to pause here and take questions from you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Rodaline. So we'll move on straight to listen to the next RNO, Madam Millicent Galley, who is the Regional Nutrition Officer for the OT region. And she also has an extensive career spanning over 15 years. She's a public health nutritionist and is the first Regional Nutrition Officer for the newly created OT region. Madam Millicent, over to you.
Hello.
Yes, hello. Wonderful, beautiful Madam Millicent.
Okay, so good afternoon. So just like what my predecessor said, it's actually a major canker in OT region as well. We've been trying over the years to look at how we can bring it down. We realized that it's difficult at our level fighting certain policies. So over the period, our concentration has been on behavior change communication. And with the Nutrition Friendly School initiative that has been initiated over the past 1 year, we were part of the pilots, and then we've also been part of the scale up as well. We are hoping that the norm of our children going to school with this SSBs will be changed over time, because currently, as my predecessor said, parents are actually buying the idea in doing that. And looking at OT region, for example, our area is more of a savanna place, and then it's like we don't usually get the fruits throughout the year in season. So our way forward, we are looking at ways of preserving it such that even when we don't have the wild fruits in season, it will be available for consumption at household level. So for our SBCC activities, we are encouraging individuals and general populations to eat fruits and freshly squeezed juices. We are also counting on the government to change their policies as well, but then our other targets are for corporates, those in offices, to help them change their habits. It's actually difficult though, but to help them change their habits of depending on the SSBs. We've actually targeted various areas that we are considering for the SBCC. We are looking at going all out and involving churches, major groups. And like what Sister Rhoda said, in fact, when it comes to health facilities, it's actually an issue. Over the period, when you look at our NCDs from 2019 to 2021, we have NCDs reducing due to our various initiations that we are doing, but we realize that if the number is not coming, will it be that they are well, they are healthy, or is it that actually people are dying slowly with the SSB cancer. So our way forward, we just want to concentrate on changing the behavior or mindset of the population, and then count on the government to change policy to remove most of this drinks from the market. If I project a picture of you, almost all the shops we have in Oti, whether they are selling books, they have a refrigerator there with a sugar sweetened beverage in it, because that is what is actually bringing them a lot of money. So the way forward here is just to make sure that the individuals actually find the need to actually stop consuming the sugar sweetened beverages, and then to have them take care of their own health instead of having it in a general form. So this is the little I have to add in terms of Oti region, because it's actually a major canker. I'll leave the rest for my other colleague too.
Thank you so much. Even the picture on the slide is a story on its own. I appreciate the inputs. So let's listen to the final RNO, but definitely not the least. The final, in fact, and by far the most experienced and the longest serving RNO in the three regions. Mr. Nusifafa Glover. Mr. Nusifafa Glover, over to you, sir.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. As introduced, my name is Nusifafa Glover. I'm going to share our experience in the Volta region with you in terms of sugar sweetened beverages. So when you look at it, sorry, so those of you who are not aware or don't know much about Volta region, this is where Volta region is located in terms of the country map. We have a population of over that is the population there. As noted, our greater challenge in terms of nutrition is the triple burdens that we have. And currently in the region, we have people with undernutrition, overnutrition, micronutrient deficiencies. And in the same region, you locate these three individuals living in it. And when you go to the same community, you see the same people there. Classrooms and workplaces, you see this. And government of Ghana, for that matter, the region, is spending a lot of money to work on this. Now, when you look at the overweight and obesity among women with reproductive age, you notice that we are seeing rapid increase in overweight and obesity. I show this slides to buttress the earlier two presenters, what the link between sugar sweetened beverages and non-communicable condition. So you notice that we are getting into a situation, if we don't control ourselves, then at the end of the day, the region will be in a serious trouble. Now, let's look at what is happening over the years, how the region is changing in lifestyle and how it's affecting the consumption of sugar sweetened beverages. 50 years ago, most of the times we cook food at home. Hardly before you see somebody buying food outside home. And most of our food, especially when you want snacks, is fruits. You get orange, you get coconut, and other fruits as well. When we receive visitors, after giving them water, the next thing we use to welcome the visitors, fruit. We use fruit to entertain visitors as well. Those days, before you can take any sugar sweetened beverages, probably is during Christmas or a very big celebration, is then that you get some of these drinks to take. And we have respect for our local foods. But now, in Volta region, we are seeing an increased consumption of food outside home. And then sugar sweetened beverages are now our snacks instead of fruit that we used to take. And we also use them sometimes as our major meals. Children are given, like stated earlier, are given this product to be taken to school or even sometimes take at home. Now, the parents don't even have time to cook for their children. They just give them money. Whatever the child gets, the child takes. So these are the changing lifestyles happening in Volta region. And you will also notice that for us, we have identified two major types of this product. We have the local ones and then the artificial ones. And so for the local ones, we have identified 4 major types in the region. And then for the artificial ones, we have identified over 30 products in the region. For the local one, you could see the common liha, the sobolo, ice kinke, and then lamogene. These are some of the local products that we have. And for artificial ones, we have series of them, over 30, and I cannot mention them. And when you go to our shops, it's well decorated, attractive, and even if you don't want to buy, you end up buying some of these products in the shops. It is estimated that roughly 34.9% of adolescents consume this product. And this is a country-wide figure, but the situation is not different from Volta region. And when during our field work, you realize that almost when we interview adolescents in schools, roughly 1 out of 3 consume this product either on daily basis or weekly basis. Though we don't have adequate data available, but we are still observing the situation in the region. Why are we seeing this rapid increase in this product? In the region, you realize that advert is one of the things that are promoting this product and causing rapid consumption of this product. Again, every community you go, whether big, small, you find this product. They are all there. Look, even the areas that we call hard to reach communities, you go there, these products are there. They are very cheap, and well, it's also provide quick energy for those who are not ready to eat now. And another thing that is affecting this region in terms of this product is that the region share boundary with Togo, and Togo is a free port. Product that comes, they are not taxed. And so these products are always moved from Togo into the country. And especially Volta, that we share border with them. When you go to Aflau, you go to Hohwe, they are moving in every day and every night. These products are now the major product that we use for our social life or activities. When you go for funerals, you go for meeting, even workshops, that is what we used. Formerly, we were noted for alcohol products, but we are changing gradually from alcohol into this product. So these are some areas that like I noted. And schools are one area that the consumption of these products are quite high. So what are we doing currently as a region? Like noted in previous regional presentations, school age nutrition is one area that we are using to tackle this situation. Currently, we have over 302 schools that we are strongly working on with this program. We are also doing individual counseling, and then we take advantage of existing community meetings to ensure that people get to know of the consequences of consuming this product. Now, in the schools, what exactly are we doing? One thing we are doing as a region is that, like I mentioned earlier, we have 302 schools that we are trying to ensure that sugar beverage intake is minimized or it's not even there at all. One thing that we are doing is that these schools develop their own policies that prevent advertisements of children coming in with this product. It also did not give chance to parents to parcel this product to their children. So the school have its own policy, and these policies are communicated to students, communicated to the parents, and also community leaders, that now the school is now nutrition-friendly school. And so for that matter, products of this sort are not allowed in this school, and they are not also supposed to be packaged for children to bring to the school. So that is one thing that we are doing. So all the 302 schools have these policies. And so when you go there now, you will not see anything close to the school involving or including these products. And then one thing that we are taking advantage of is that we are using this approach to get parents as well, so that they also appreciate and understand the reason why we are not supposed to be taking product of this sort. And then, as said earlier, we organized celebration of 2 days every Wednesday. All the 302 schools organized 2 days. And one interesting thing that we are also doing to prevent people from taking these sugar sweetened beverages, we want to make fruit available to the population. So we are engaging all these schools, the 302 schools, to plant fruit trees. And once, like somebody suggested earlier, after 3-4 years, fruit will be available in the school, in the community, and this will help reduce the consumption of this product. And these are some of the pictures trying to show you what we are currently doing. Every Wednesday in a week, children take fruit, and even before they take the fruit, there is education on the importance of consuming fruit, and also the education on the importance of not taking this product. And for us, we are targeting the, like one of the presenters said, catch them young so that they become yours forever. We start this product, this education program from KG to junior high. The only things that we are trying to do is to penetrate into the secondary school, which is quite a little bit difficult. We started with about 5 secondary schools, but activities there are not compared to the lower level. So this is exactly what we are doing. And this is fruit trees the schools are planting. Schools on this program, the nutrition-friendly program, are making sure that they plant fruit trees so that a day will come, even if they don't have fruit coming from the house, they can use the school-owned fruit to celebrate Food Day. So, and then apart from that, we are also, this activities is limited, but we also try to enter churches and educate them, community groups. And then now we are also trying to introduce food days in Sunday schools so that our message can go wider. So these are some of the challenges that we are facing as a region. Inadequate data to determine actual consumption of sugar sweetened beverages in the region. And then limited information to the population. And then how to regulate the sale of this product in the region. So basically, for me not to waste time, basically these are the things that are happening on the field, to be specific, Volta region. And one thing that we are also trying to ensure happen in the region is that we want to promote wellness clinic. Most of the times in this region, people only get sick before they get to hospital. But what we are trying to do these days is that even if you are not sick, visit the hospital or a clinic so that you can receive counseling and then check your vitals. And within this period, we also counsel, educate them on prevention and then not use of sugar sweetened beverages. Thank you very much. Let's work together to reduce the consumption rate in Ghana. Thank you.
Thank you. I think that this has been a very elaborate presentation. I actually allowed it to even go on because I felt that it added some more perspective to the discussions. Thank you so much, Mr. Glover. So at this point, colleagues, we were hoping to finish by 3. It's 5 minutes to 3. I crave your indulgence for an extra 15 minutes of conversation. After which, if you want to stay on, we are happy to engage you for longer. But at least by 3:15, we'll try and summarize. So let's see. The hands are up. I have a concern. It looks like for some reason there are more Benices and more Sednums than I expected. So please, if I see more than one Benice, I will not ask you to talk. You better put your own name. So let's go with Kwabena, and then Phyllis and Eden. So in that order. So, Kwabena.
All right, so thank you. My name is Raphael Kwabena, and I'm very much delighted from the presentations our regional nutrition officers have delivered. My question is particularly focused on the nutrition-friendly school initiative. I believe that if we can holistically address the issue from the school setting, we equally have to extend it to the private I work in the
the previous participant just said, yes, it's important we include private schools. 10 years ago, I carried out a study in the GAND East District on childhood obesity in schools, and we compared the rates in public schools and private schools. And it was obvious that in the private schools, the rates were higher. Of course, it makes sense because of issues of socioeconomic status of their parents and what they could afford. What is junk foods are seen as prestigious, something that people attach themselves to. My contribution is that the Ghana Health Service and the districts are doing very well with controlling the sale of sugar sweetened beverages and encouraging healthy eating, because a study carried out by the Meals for NCDs project, also in the Greater Accra, we saw that in most of the schools, there were restrictions on what is sold on the school compound. But the challenge had to do with when the students are out of school. These children are also very smart, so they go out of the school on their way coming. They meet the vendors who are selling these ice creams and toffees and buy from them. So, and it comes down to the point of, even as sometimes we are forced to go for these unhealthy options because of cost and availability. As I speak now, it's difficult to find oranges here in Hawaii. And I bought orange for 1 cedi 50 pesos just last week, one single orange. So if somebody is desiring to eat fruit, but the price is not allowing them to buy, there is little they can do. And that is why it's good we are all advocating for policies that will regulate the environment so that healthy foods will be cheaper or less expensive than unhealthy ones. And I'm sure by doing that, it will encourage a lot of people to go for the healthy options. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Phyllis. Adam, over to you.
Okay, thank you. I think it's a good presentation. And I think the bigger issue here have to do with the manufacturing companies. So if policy makers are able to, or we can all come together and then push for formulation of policies that will be targeted at these companies.
Okay. Adam. Hello. Hello. Okay. Sorry about that.
Of the natural fruit, because we are only talking about, let me see what happens in the school. What of if they go to the house?
Okay. So, Adam, forgive me. There was a lot of feedback from your
You can still take some of these high. Hello.
Yes. So I think just let's keep the conversation short.
I don't know if I can be heard.
I can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. But make your
Hello,
point.
can you hear me, please? Is it better now?
Yes, Adam, I can hear you, but I'm saying that make your points succinct so that other people can get a chance to speak. So just wrap up on your point if you still have to make a comment. Okay. So RNUs, anybody wants to respond to the comments so far?
Okay. Thank you very much for the comment. In the first person, the first and then the second person talk about the involvement of private schools. Yes, currently we are not tackling only
Mr. Glover.
Okay, Percy. Percy.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'll just take it from where Glover started. The previous presenter said that we're not doing it in the schools, in the private schools, I mean, but when the funding came, the funding was not enough, so we started with the public schools. But then currently in my region, I would want to speak for my region. In my region, what has been done is that though funding is not coming anymore, officers have taken it upon themselves to visit the schools and to discuss with the school management and then show them the benefits they will get from that intervention. And I tell you, a lot of the private schools have come on board. And then even districts that were not part of the pilot have started doing it in some selected schools with the help of the Ghana Education Service. So it can be done. We as officers can start the initiative by speaking to school management, meeting with the parent-teacher associations. And just like Glover said, we can also use the Sunday school, because in my church, my Sunday school is implementing the food days during Sundays. So this is just what I would want to add. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Rodelin. Any other comments?
Okay, so in Oti region, even the pilot, it was both private schools and then government schools. So in implementation, we actually did not sideline the private schools. And so all of them are implementing. And like what Staroda said, some schools were not part of the scale up, but then looking at what is happening, everybody wants to get involved. So sometimes you get the schools contacting the district officers to come and orient them. And then from there, they also start the tree planting. They start beautifying the environment. They start putting up policies to prevent the sales of the sugar sweetened beverages and only healthy food on their compound. So even though it's not all the schools that have been covered so far, majority of them are also actually not part of this thing, but with the help of the officers on the field, we are able to cover more schools than what we scaled up on initially.
Excellent. All right. Okay. So I think we'll go for another round of questions, and then we can look at what do we have to do next, and that will be the final conversation for this afternoon. So Kwabena Raphael's hand is up. Raphael. Is it an old hand? Okay.
It's an old hand.
Okay.
But if you give me the opportunity, I would ask about Prof. Zoto's presentation. And so I was actually even making a comment in the chat box that in countries like Chile, where they've been authorized, the food production companies have been authorized to put labels that are very legible on the prepackaged foods, such that you can read it as, for instance, high sugar, high fat, and then this is to inform the consumer to also make an informed decision. And so I think that if our policymakers can also look at this, just so that some of the products that are on our market can have this, so that can be very visible enough for our consumers to see, and then they can decide whether to still buy or to walk away from it. Thank you.
Thank you. I saw another hand up. So if your name is Bernice and you are not a co-host, I'm not likely to mention your name. So Joseph, also answer. Over to you, sir. Joseph.
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Good. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm grateful. I think I don't have a question, but a contribution once we are trying to stir conversation about things to be done about SSB. I think for the programs we have from Ghana Health Service point, you see that looking at the population and the magnitude of the problem, the solutions don't seem to be enough, giant enough to address the issues. And one of the things I personally find is lack of resources. Nutrition within Ghana Health Service is one of the less funded, if not the least. And so the things you get to see are often donor-driven. Somehow, it's also the reason why you cannot address local issue problem. I think we must also not forget advocating for more resources, perhaps locally generated resources, so that we can map up strong interventions to meet the population and the magnitude of the problem. So if we are having further conversation, I think we have to look at resources and then funding for interventions within Ghana. Thank you.
Point well made. Resources is not just funding, by the way. So you are a resource. I am a resource. We together we are resources. So part of the campaign, part of this meeting is to harness the human resource, which is the most important of all resources, so that together we can go into our regions and our districts and our communities and begin to make people understand that nutrition-wise, sugar sweetened beverages are terrible for our health. And if you're able to get people angry enough, maybe even if the politicians or the policymakers are not ready to take action, I mean, the anger of the people can bring to bear on them, and they may begin to reconsider their decisions. So that's one of the things you are doing. Professor To's hand is up. Professor To.
Just a quick one. I really am encouraged by the regional nutritionists and their presentation. That tells me that you are doing a lot of work. You are going to the churches, you are going to the mosque, and you are using food days. Congratulations for these efforts. I looked at your challenges, and these challenges are really not challenges. I see that you are working in silos, right from the national, right down to the regions. I'd say it bluntly. Learn to build up teams in academia. If you want information, team up with academics. Academics don't bite. Please, work with academics. Work with academics. Millicent, work with academics so that you can partner together. And we need more of these discussions. And you are doing an excellent job. And I really want to commend you for the work you are doing. The academics cannot keep on sitting in their glass houses. Bring them down, organize floats, send them to the churches, to the mosque, and they will be able to give some slant, some academic slant to this. Not that you cannot give academic slant, but they can also be there to partner with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Prof. And I can say that the Volta region has started that collaboration with academics, at least with the Department of Nutrition and Dietetics, for some time now. And that I can speak for. I look forward to the same collaboration with the OT and Eastern and all the other regions going forward. So Emmanuel and Juliana, those will be the last two open comments. Then we will now go to the solution. What do we do going forward? Emmanuel and Juliana, in that order. Emmanuel. Kindly unmute yourself, Emmanuel.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. I was really enthused by the work done in the Volta region. But he made mention of how difficult it was to penetrate into the second cycle institutions. But what I want to ask is that in Ghana, do we really have a robust national nutrition policy, which even has been segmented to the various district levels? Because if we have robust nutrition policies, then I think our public health experts and those in charge could do a lot of work by making sure that even when you go to the vocational schools, secondary schools, and the basic schools, they will have documents about this robust national policy, which they will tease out the one that the district will prioritize, so that every head or every manager in each of the schools will go by the policy, so that if in nursery, KG, primary, these are particular foods that are supposed to be allowed, it will be regulated by the policy. So sometimes you even research and you find out that even the national policy that Ghana has, in fact, is not really implemented compared to the other countries. When you go to our hospitals, look at how sugar sweetened beverages and other foods are being allowed to the patients on the hospital beds, with even dietitians and nutritionists even seeing all these things. So sometimes I do ask myself, is there a national policy? If we have a national policy, then we'll even end up getting the hospital-based nutrition policy, in which even if somebody is on admission, there are some tags and instructions as to what the person should take and what the person shouldn't take. If you come to our whole teaching hospitals here, a lot of people are on admission, and you even enter into the wards and you don't even see a nutrition policy that is regulating them as they are even on the wards. So the Volta region nutrition officer has done a really bad. If there is a national policy, district nutrition policy, or municipal nutrition policy, I think it will be easy to enforce or implement some of these things.
Very well noted. Dr. Nasoji, and then that will be, and then we can have some responses. Okay, I think, Dr. Julian, are you still on? Okay, then maybe I think you see to Dr. Inso. Dr. Inso.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Very well.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Go ahead,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah, I'm driving, so my network is not. I'm driving. My network is not that stable. Yeah, I think I listened to the original nutrition officer, and in fact, they're doing a great work. And I just want to emphasize the point Prof. Zoto made. Yes, already there's some collaboration already ongoing, like you rightly put it, that the Volta Regional Nutrition Office are collaborating well with the Department of Nutrition. Others can emulate, is good. But another thing I've also said, there was this program I was listening to Joy FM, and they talk about this school nutrition stuff. And then they realized that one of the problems that the school management is having is that sometimes they tell the student that you are not supposed to bring any biscuit, any sweetened beverage to school, and some parents still go the extent of putting them in the children, school bags and those things. So in the process, sometimes they search and they find some of those things, they seize them. So I think the parents are still a big problem, that if the school is doing the best and the parents are not helping, we are not going to achieve anything. So I think that conscious effort should be made to actually talk to the parents at the PTA level, so that they can be able to assist us. If they said the student should not bring any sweetened beverage to school, and you, the parent, put it in the bag, at the end you are touting the effort that we are attempting to solve the problem. So it's one thing I think that we have to also focus so much on the parents, so that once the parents get the message very well, I'm sure they can help us to fight the problem.
Very well noted. Thank you very much. Okay, good. Just before I make allow the panelists to speak, please remember that there is a registration form, an attendance form, which we will share on the chat. Please kindly fill it. This is how we know that you were here, and then we're able to use that as well to guide the issuance of your e-certificates of participation. And for those who are interested in the CPD points, we are assured of 2 CPD points. And like we've always said, this is a free event. You don't have to pay anything to participate. But if you want the CPD points, you just do a donation of a minute token of 10 Ghana cedis, and then you can have the CPD certificates sent to you, either by WhatsApp or by email. But then for you to do that, you need to fill the form. Sister Bernice, are you able to share the form with us? Okay, good. So panelists, any comments?
Before the panelists come, it will be good for us to take a picture. If we turn our videos on, can somebody take a picture from the gallery? Maybe that would help. Is it possible? Organizer, please turn your videos on and turn your videos on. I want to see the beautiful faces and the handsome faces.
Watching your phone for that. Anyway,
So
when
he's
you can mess around with them, but some of them you can't.
So Percy, can we take the pictures? Who is taking the pictures?
Prof, I've done that.
Good, thank you very much. It's good to see all these leaders who want to make a difference. Please take it again. I forgot to put my own.
I think the picture, you have to take it again.
Yeah, can you hold on? Yes, we are doing that. Okay, I can see you now. Okay.
Baba, it's good to see you. I haven't seen you for a long time. You finish school and then you all go. You don't get in touch with me anymore.
Okay, Percy, you can go on.
Percy, go on. Thank you so much.
Thank you too.
This meeting is being recorded.
Oh, what's happening? So I'm having a little technical challenge at my end, but I'm sure you can hear me now. So, Auntie Rhoda, you want to start? Make your comments.
Well, I think that most of the comments that came in were sort of suggestions. And what I just want to add is that we will need to strengthen our social behavioral change communication so that people will be able to make very good informed choices when it comes to what to eat and what to drink. Thank you.
Thank you. And Auntie Millicent, your final. Auntie Millicent.
Hello. Hello.
Yes.
Okay, so for all comments that have been made during this session are well taken, and then I've learned a lot from this particular session, and we hope that when we call on all of us to participate in moving this agenda forward, we'll all come and then contribute our quota to this very important advocacy that we want to implement. And then also, as noted earlier, nutrition officers, we have them in the regions, all right, but then we are calling on everybody to help us champion this agenda, because the number we have currently is not enough to reach everybody. We are making the sound, but then we'll need all of us on board, health workers, academia, so that we'll be able to reach the general population, especially the parents, so that we'll be able to change their minds on some of the household lifestyles that we cultivate in the kids. Thank you very much. It has been an experience.
Thanks so much.
Percy, are you taking the final comments?
As it is now, no, as your response. You want to make final comment? Let's
okay.
The response.
Okay, so let me also respond to some of the issues raised. I think the first one, I appreciated the suggestion from Professor Zoto. Like my colleagues noted, it's already going on. It's only that we are making use of the people who are close to us. That is the dietetic unit. For the nutrition unit in the university, they are quite far away. Sometimes getting them to our meetings, if we don't have money, we are facing those difficulties of bringing them in. But those in who here, dietetic unit, they are part of our nutrition coordinating committee. So anytime we are meeting, we invite them. Again, like somebody asked whether there is a national nutrition policy. Yes, we have national nutrition policy, and it's available. Even if you go to Ghana Health Service website, it's available. And when you get in touch with districts and then regions, you get a copy of those policies. The only thing is that I think it's out of like the period, we need to review it. And so I'm sure National is looking at that very soon. There will be a call for review of national nutrition policy, but we are still using the old policy. Yes, somebody make a comment about parents not helping solve the problem. Yes, that is very true. Still, we are working on that. For us as a region, every term, we tend to organize parent-teacher associations where we continue sensitizing parents on the policies of the schools, the policy of the program, and then the benefits that both the children and then parents will derive from not consuming sugar. We are always working on that. So basically, those are the things that I would say concerning the issues raised on the platform. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So the next phase of a conversation was to find out what we need to do next. So from here, what next? We cannot actually respond to all the questions and all the comments, unfortunately. But after here, what do we do next? What can we do together? What are the plans going forward? Please, if you want to speak, give us a suggestion on what we can do from now. The Prof will be the final on this, and then the rest of us will go. So the RNOs. Okay, let's start with the participants, and then the RNOs will finalize it with Prof. So John, what do we do? What can we do to keep the campaign up?
I think one of the things we need to do, we need to get the data, because if you look at Mr. Nutrifa, when he was saying, he said that he couldn't find the data, and that was one of the biggest challenges they are having. And I think it should be the case with the other regions. So it means we have to team up with the academicians, need to team up with the nutrition officers to try to go and get the data so that we know that, okay, when it comes to
sweetened beverages consumption, this is the data. Because as of now, we are just looking at what we are seeing in the environment, but not without supporting what the data. I think if we get the data, it will help a lot. So that's one of the things that I think we should take it seriously on board so that we can be able to fight it holistically. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Divine, what do we do?
Okay, thank you very much. So I think we should do a very aggressive campaign on the social media. And then we should try and then link up with the various radio stations. If we're able to do a very good job in those places, I'm sure people will start catching the fever. Because if you take some of these radio stations, they are talking about football, get a time like that, and we explain to them and people get the understanding that this is a very serious business. When the fever catches with the populace, people will start running with it. So that is one area I think that we can do to be able to help spread the good news for people to catch the fever and then everybody can run with it. That is my suggestion.
Okay. Any other suggestions? Bernice, somebody says Bernice Pinocho, but I know it's not the Bernice I know.
It's not me.
So,
I don't know why they are using my name.
Dr. Kote. Dr. Kote, what do we do? What can we do? Dr. Kote, what do you use?
Yes, thank you very much. I would want to re-echo the point of the influence of advertisements on children. So I would advocate for the ban on TV, the advertisements of these sugar sweetened beverages, as it has been done in the US, Canada, UK, and what have you. At least, if we are not able to do anything at all, the timing where kids are engaged during their cartoons, etc., these adverts should not be shown at all. And similarly, as it was done for these alcoholic beverages, where they were taken out of the normal TV viewing times to the late hours, something of that sort can be done to help curb this problem. So the emphasis is on the media. We should flood the media space with all these advocacy, and I think we'll get somewhere. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. So, R.D. Jonathan, what do we do?
Yes, thank you, R.D., for your excellent moderation. I will add on to what R.D. Divine and my HOD has said. Yes, in addition to the social media campaign and the traditional media campaign, I think that we as dietitians and nutritionists, in our own small way, in our own niche, wherever we are practicing, every patient that we see, we should try and educate such a patient on the need to, reduce the intake or avoid intake of these SSBs and rather replace them with the natural fruits and beverages. If possible, that we can lobby to get some small money to make small flyers that, can go a long way to also keep advertising what is good as against what we are trying to eliminate. So this is my small take on it. Thank you. Hello, Ardi.
Thank you. So any final suggestions from the participants? Yes, I can hear you. Thank you. So from the chat, there's a conversation that we should, pull that up. So this and do more public education. What do you want us to do? Can you hear me?
Yes, Percy, I can. Yes, so just like the others have suggested, we should use all avenues. Let's use our community members, let's use our traditional authorities, the political authorities, all the social media handles you can think of, especially Twitter, which can get globally, the TikToks and all that. We can have a handle on a hashtag on Twitter to send the messages to all who need to know. And then we should also be able to involve our media, our print media, all the media that you can think of, the use of our community information centers, and also use the schools and then the churches as a medium to reach everyone to come on board.
Okay.
We should all know that our body needs fluid to work correctly. So when we lose these fluids, the need to replace them with there's the need to replace them with very healthy fluids and not the SSBs. I think that if we're able to use all these measures, we'll be able to go far. Thank you.
Thank you. Auntie Millicent, what do we do? What else should we do going forward?
Okay, so in as much as we are trying to get the SSBs out of the system, most of the challenge will be, then what do we eat? So we should also try to look for avenues to make fruits available, especially throughout the whole season, so that we should promote fruits like coconuts, plantain. They contain a lot of water, which is very healthy for us. And we should also look for support for already existing interventions like the Nutrition Friendly Initiative, and also getting the general population involved in this agenda is key to a successful implementation. Thank you.
Thank you. Uncle Glover, what do we do? What else should we do?
Well, I think I would just go in line with what the rest have said. I think currently we are also trying to involve some of the political leaders at the district level. The DCs, for instance, most of our meetings now, we try to involve Northern DCE, and then one of the youngest MP in the parliament too is also involved in some of our meetings. And so I think, like everybody said, we need to bring in leaders to be able to work on this. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The final person to speak will be Prof. Zoto, but I'm going to break protocol and allow another regional nutrition officer who is outside of the 3 regions in scope to speak. Madam Faustina.
Yeah, hello, Percy. I was just typing my submission.
Yes,
Good afternoon, everyone.
the special dispensation because you also had RNO on the call. Go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Okay, so to add to what has been said, I think we should also try to support the local industry to produce healthy snacks. That is very important because if you look at Greater Accra, we'll go out there and sensitize them. The question they ask is, so what should we buy? Where should we buy it? You know, so I think that we should be able to support that, and academia can help. We should also do more research, as some of you have already mentioned. Use the facts and figures to engage policymakers. Nutufafa is just talking about some of the MPs, very, very relevant. If you are able to engage them to understand, it will help us. And then I was also talking about the social media handles. They've talked about it already, but can we come together as a community to be able to, you know, have a message that can, you know, attract the youth? That is very important because if we do a lot of content, they are not going to listen to us. And just to form of information to everyone. I think Greater Accra, we are working with the private schools. Adam, because there were some issues because they are thinking about they being trained formally before. But one district, we have all the schools in the district implementing nutrition friendly. That is Ladede Kotoko. And we have other districts that have come on board. So it is something that we are working on. And I look forward to working more with colleagues here, those in academia. We have started, we've invited UHAS, the Department of Nutrition, we are working with them. I think Phyllis is here. They've started some research working with some of our nutrition officers. What we have asked is that they let their students come into our district, find out the problems with our district officers, and they pick it up as their research work. So we don't really need to look for funding. So I encourage everyone to work with our colleagues so that we can bring out the facts. That is what we need. Because when we are talking without figures, it doesn't work. But I like what my colleagues presented, but we need the figures. If you are able to say Greater Accra, you have this number of schools, and this is what is happening, obesity and all that, you are speaking with facts, and I think we can go a long way. So thank you very much. It has already been a long day, and I don't want to take much of your time. Thank you. And well done to everyone. Yeah.
Thank you too. Is Professor Todd still on the call? All right. So yes.
Sorry,
yes.
Prof had another important engagement, so it's gone.
Yes.
So if I can briefly say something in addition to what everyone has said. Yes, it's true. And thank you so much for Steve for your collaboration so far. What I would say is that I'm also reliably in relation to helping industries serve as the types of snacks and things we need, especially for our children. I'm reliably informed. You know of the Agri-Tech Challenge, right? That's the Cosmos Innovation Center and MasterCard Foundation, Young African Works have been doing in other regions. They are going to come into the Volta region next year. So one of the things we can do with our students, they should start thinking about very innovative approaches of making foods. For instance, what Millicent said about making some example dried fruits, which are healthy options, making having innovative ideas and presenting them. These people are able to mentor them and give them seed funding to take up these business oriented action. That could also help in promoting healthy lifestyle. So we should take it up. I know academia, the focus is not profit, but we have the knowledge and we have the skills to also support in this regard. So we shouldn't let it pass us by. So I encourage all of us who are into this, whether academia or not, the focus is on graduate students. So anyone, regardless of whether you have an agri background or what, once you have.
Thank you so much, Dr. Phyllis. All right. Hello. So Dr. Phyllis, thank you very much. So colleagues, we have already gone beyond the time estimated, but I think that it's been a worthwhile afternoon, and the conversations will not end here. In fact, that's not the idea. The idea is for the conversations to start here and continue all the way through us to every nook and cranny within the three regions. And I like the post that Edward put up. We should include nutrition units when building every health facility in the country. That is true. We should add comprehensive feeding service. That is true. Catering services and all that. And then we should also train and he also goes on to say that we should encourage tree planting and encourage research and all that. Now, but most importantly, let's leave here knowing that there's a lot to be done, and it takes you and I to do it. Let's make sure that everybody we meet hears about the dangers of the sugar sweetened beverages. There's no data yet in some places, but at least we know from elsewhere what the dangers are. We know what the health implications are. We've understood what intervention works elsewhere, including taxes on sugar sweetened beverages, and including subsidies on healthy fruits, so that people can eat more healthier options than the dangerous sugar sweetened beverages. Let's promote that. Let's encourage. Let's let the campaign go far and wide. Use your Twitter handles, use your Facebook accounts, use your whatever account, your emails, your YouTubes, and whatever social media handle you have. GAND is going to work on promoting some of these messages, and we hope that you will be part of the experience. Thank you all so much for your time. And I want to say again that the CPD, there's 3 CPDs available. And if you are interested in it, all you need to do is to fill the form and indicate same, and then you do a contribution to the account that have been posted. Please ensure that you have registered, because that's how we show that we're part of this type of activity. And I'm happy to note that there were over 300 participants in this event. And at the time of closing, even after 30 minutes beyond the time, we still have over 150 people. And that's a good thing. God bless you all. And shall we say a word of prayer? And then we shall close. Shall we pray? Thank you, Lord, for a successful meeting. We pray that even as we prepare to make this journey, you will help us to be ambassadors against sugar-sweetened beverages and good ambassadors for healthy foods and healthier foods and healthier diets. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. God.
Amen.
All right.